Alright, there we go then. A mic check, 1, 2, 3. Yo, test, 1, 2, 3. Dev22 is a retard. Alright. I have to host and stream at the same time, so this might be a little bit cooked. My apologies. My fucking Epic Lex is on my laptop, that's pretty cool. Holy attendance, bro. Yeah, half of these people aren't progressing to the race. Why is Jen rejoining? Alright. What does this guy mean you can't get in your car? Alright, let's go. Green flag, bro. Combined qualifying, by the way. Pros and AMs both on track. So why can't I spectate anyone? Like, what? What the fuck? Bro, what? Can't spectate anyone. I have no clue what's going on. Why can't I spectate people? What is this? So cooked. I'm doing it the old-fashioned way, bro. Yeah, it's actually so cooked if I can't spectate people. Dude. What is going on? Bro. What is going on? What the fuck? Bro. Mate, I'm so confused. Why is the leak? Bro, what? Oh my god. Are all the leakers in the thing? Oh my fucking days they are. Oh no. Dude, Collie's cooked. I'm actually a pure retard. I have to shut down. Okay. Should be fixed now. Oh, it's still not fixed, bro. What the fuck? There's no way I'm selling on like the highest attendance we've ever had. Okay, there we go. This time for real, and hopefully I can actually fucking spectate people this time. Please work, bro. I actually beg. Okay, thank you. Okay, good. You can spectate people now, it's fine. Yeah, you have to reset and then it will fix it. Alright. Green flag for qualifying. Let me get rid of performance stats. Oh, I forgot to open the pits. Okay, we actually have like a lot of the title contenders here today. Got James, Techno, Dev, who's like somehow up there. Got Jen, could do some bits if he locks in. Got Weblu, of course. These are massive queue of cars here. Reset to make sure that I can spectate everyone properly. Let's go with Techno. I think he'll be definitely one of the contenders for pole here. Doing a little bit of weaving, getting the heat into his tyres, getting ready for his lap. Quite a fast-paced lap here at Laguna Seca, only like a 1 minute 14. Probably going to be a pole sort of time. Pretty much a roller coaster this track, lots of elevation, expecting to see a bit of chaos in the race. As we have the first few cars crossing the line. Looks like Epic Lexa that I can't spectate, cool. Yo, where is Epic Lexa? Okay, I guess we're not spectating Epic Lexa. But we'll go on board with James. The one of the fastest drivers in the league. Does not have the world record at this track. That's actually me, because I'm the GOAT. But he has got the second fastest lap here, so expecting to see a pretty quick time from James here as he crosses the line. Going to be going down the hill. Heavy braking zone into turn 1. Want to keep it pinned on the inside so you can straight line the exit, which he does nicely. Going to get it over to the left for this tricky right-hander. We have to do a lot of trail braking. And then this corner is just barely flat. Maybe, you know, when the tyres were, it might not be flat, but in qualifying, absolutely flat through there, full commitment. And you've got this weird cambered left hand, really got to ride the inside and let it carry you round the corner. So you have our first laps coming in. Wakey, the AM driver, on a provisional pole currently, but definitely expecting to see that change. We'll see how James is through the corkscrew then on his first lap. Looks pretty good, pinned nicely there, hitting both apexes, and then you got this corner which sort of forces the car out wide through the penultimate corner, and then heavy braking zone into the last corner. Have to hit this apex and try and carry as much speed as possible because you got a short run to the straight. We'll see what James does as Webb does a 1:14.6. James beats him instantly 1:14.2, so maybe we could even get into the 1:13s here. We'll look further back to Techno, who has traffic just ahead of him, getting out the way, and now a bit more traffic there, almost impeding him, but just makes it through. See what James can do. I mean Techno, sorry. See, we come up to the last corner, finds his braking mark. Maybe goes a little bit deep there, but nothing too bad. We'll see what you can do. Can you beat James? Yes, 1:14.0, so not quite a 1:13, but we're definitely getting there. As Maxi goes P3, 1:14.3, so competitive qualifying session here. Of course, only the top 16 drivers will advance to the race, so 3 of these drivers will unfortunately be eliminated. And we do have a few new faces here, especially in the Lamborghini, the Martoro Hotebu team. Definitely butchered the pronunciation of that. See if you can find anyone else on a lap. Looks like Techno maybe going for a double push lap here, not sure. I mean, it's looking good for Techno here. Could be a second push lap. Maybe looking to get into the 1:13s. Indeed, he does stay out, so we'll see if Techno can further improve. He's committed through the final corner, but a little bit too committed as he goes wide and gets a slowdown. We have a Kanye who's recently swapped from the BMW into the Red Bull Ferrari. He goes very wide, but still gonna continue his lap. currently sat all the way down in P19, so he's going to be looking for an improvement here. We'll see what he can get as he kind of crashes into the wall a little bit. Still goes to the mid-table, so that sort of shows you how off the pace some of these drivers are. The fact that you can crash into the wall and still go mid-pack. As we see a few cars in the pit lane there. Looks like James getting up to some deviousness. We have a Wakey promoted from GT4, put in a good performance at Misano. Got signed in GT3. Currently sat P7, so if you could stay around there, it'd be a pretty good debut for Wakey in a GT World Challenge. We'll see how he can do through the corkscrew. Leaving the braking as late as possible, gets really nice rotation on the downhill. Goes a little bit wide through there, but manages to keep it out to CC. We'll see what Wakey can do. It's looking like a decent lap, but he goes wide, so maybe I'm going to peel into the pits there. And we have this interesting pit entry where some drivers clearly not wanting to brake. Doesn't look like anyone on the lap. Maybe Dev, I think. Just dodges that traffic. Nah, Dev weaving, so not on the lap. Wish I could spectate Epic Lex. Clearly that's not gonna happen. Hopefully once we get into the race, should be able to spectate all drivers. Looks like we have Void, the Australian driver, gonna be on very high ping, so have to give him a little bit of leniency, as indeed he goes wide. Very hard to control these cars when your Wi-Fi is cooked, and he comes into the pits, so no improvement for Void. It's like we have James maybe about to start a lap. Just going through the final sector now. One of the walking horse BMWs ahead of him. He'll be hoping that he doesn't get impeded by that car. Looks like it's Just Maxine, driver that he fought against in Monza for a win and won. Looks like Weblu just getting ahead of James there as he starts his lap, so gonna be frustrating for James. Again, hooking the inside nicely, letting it run wide, getting the power down. And then you got this sweeper as we see Weblu just getting out the way there. Few cars in the background having to navigate the traffic. It's quite a busy circuit with it being one of the shortest layouts on the calendar. Ooh, James a little bit wide, but I think he just stayed out of the slowdown there. So no improvement, still Techno with the 114 flat, no one sneaking into the 113s yet. As James gets a slowdown, that's going to ruin his lap. The corkscrew, that iconic corner, definitely one of the make or break corners on this track. If you don't get that right, then you might as well just give up on your lap. But James staying out here. See if he can do any better than a 114.2. No, it does not improve, so messing up the corkscrew. Indeed, it does a lot of harm to your lap as you have Techno here. Going up the hill, we'll see if he can get the corkscrew right. Looks like he does, gets the rotation quite nicely too. Has to shave off a little bit of speed through there, but nothing too bad. Could be getting into the 113s for Techno here. He's a little bit wide through the final corner, but allows him to carry a bit more speed maybe. I think this will be an improvement, and indeed he does improve, but only by a few hundredths. So still no one in the 113s. As Webb actually goes P2, so James demoted down to P3 now. Looks like we have Kanye and Kvyat doing some interesting things. So here, Void beginning another lap, currently sat down in P14, could be vulnerable here. Gonna need to improve as he has to get out of the way of one of the Sky Tempesta Ferraris ahead of him. Goes wide, so it's gonna be his lap over. So we got James coming out the pits. Jen, I think this might be a lap for Jen. Currently sat all the way down in P13, so not a good look for a pro driver. He's going to be looking for a big improvement here. Pins it nicely through turn 5. Got to be full commitment through turn 6. Not quite making use of all the track there, but still carrying decent speed. Got quite a bit of traffic building up now as he gets a little bump there, but shouldn't harm him too much. It's actually pretty good through the corkscrew, but lets it run a little bit too wide on the exit. And oh, there's a McLaren stopped. I don't know what's going on there. Just managed to avoid it, but a McLaren stopped on the racing line. See if Jen can improve. Does not, so still stuck in P13. And these drivers are running out of time here to get a lap done. You got Burnout Bob, one of their new faces today. I'm not sure what Alo is doing. Looks like James beginning his final lap here. We'll see if he can topple the mighty Techno. Again, all good through turn 1. This is a do or die for James here. No time to do another lap after this. He's got Weblu ahead of him, also potentially looking for an improvement. Kvyat's actually gone into P4 with a 1:14.2. Really good lap from Kvyat as an AM driver, beating a lot of pros, you know. Maybe looking for a promotion up into the pro category himself. But James still on with his lap. Traffic getting out of the way there. He's going to have to send it through the corkscrew, but I think he maybe got a CC, I'm not sure. It's looking good for James though. Could be an improvement here. It's going to be looking to break into the 113s, get ahead of Techno and stick it on pole. See what James and Weblu can do then. Weblu does not improve. We'll see what James can do. 1:14.146 just makes it across the line. So looks like Techno is secured on pole unless you have someone else improving, which I don't believe you do. I believe that is it for quali then. It's like Kanye. I'm not sure if he crossed the line in time. James goes wide, so he's not going to be able to improve either. Ain't no way my taskbar crashes now, bro. It's gonna be so annoying to find out who didn't qualify now. and not sure what Techno is doing. It's chilling on the track. That's your main queue then. 16 drivers making their way to the grid. I think my mic should be better now. So we have Aloha entering the pits for some reason. Gonna be clear skies here in Laguna Seca, of course, as we are literally in the middle of a desert, so no rain. Not sure where James is. Oh, there he is. So we will be lining up here, getting ready for the start then. So I have a vacant grid box there, not sure what's going on. But here we go then, watching the lights at Laguna Seca. We'll see who gets a better start between these three. Looks like Techno getting away well. Webley putting a little bit of pressure on James here. Going to be maybe looking for a move around the outside into turn 1. I'm expecting chaos into turn 1. It looks like there is a bit of contact, but driver's actually managing to keep it clean as James makes his way into the lead, so making it past Techno there. Good move from James. It's like Techno maybe was looking for a move around the outside there, but no way past James. Gonna be too wide in the background going into the corkscrew. That cannot possibly end well. Looks like they managed to make it through mostly okay though. James pulling a bit of a gap there as Reblu goes a bit wide. Now coming under pressure from Kanye. Kanye getting forced out wide. Has to back off. So James just controlling this race, but Techno is following closely after him. So you see them coming through. I think one of the McLarens having issues with the limiter. Just needs to spam click it and it should fix itself. But Techno here not letting James get away, and these two are definitely some of the fastest drivers in the league, as we see. I believe that's Dev challenging for P2. So Dev, Jen and Weblu making their way into this fight for P3, as you have a McLaren, stricken McLaren on the side there. I'm not sure what's going on with that. One of the AMs actually, the Wakey, doing a Really impressive debut here. We'll see if he can get it done around the outside of Dev into the corkscrew. Just has to back out there, but Dev does go wide, so we'll look further forwards. Looks like Techno is sticking onto the back of James here, not letting him get away at all. I think Maxi potentially having some issues, and indeed he's dropped down to last. I'm not sure what happened there. Techno has actually made his way past James now, so James in the slipstream though. Could potentially be looking for a move in Laguna Seca, although if he's smart, I imagine he'll be trying to work together with Techno. And Techno, one of the drivers that has had pretty rotten luck this season. I think it's safe to say, had that safety car at Sebring that, you know, really put him out of contention after an incident at turn 1. As you see James going really wide there, has to back out. But Techno now showing what he can do when fortune favours him. He's got James hot on his heels though, and these two are just gapping the group behind. Looks like a massive fight for P2 here. Weblu, I believe that's Kaviak, Dev, Jen, and Wakey, the amateur debutant in this race involved. So Wakey, a really impressive debut, fighting for P3 for a podium. It's like a 59 car was potentially looking for one around the outside, but thinks better of it. Goes a little bit wide there. Maybe you're going to get a slowdown. And that is Dev in a 59 car. Meant to be the 222. Must have taken the wrong car. Gets the slowdown. Forced to let Kaviak past. We'll look back to our leaders then. Looks like James has caught right back up to Techno. Thinking about a move into the corkscrew. He's asking to work together, but then just sends it up the inside anyway. We'll see if he backs out here. No. Maybe looking to hang it around the outside, but Techno shuts the door. So these two, well, they should really be working together, but James was looking for a move there. So you have Weblu actually on the soft tyre, which is a interesting strategy choice. Although it does seem to be paying off for him here. He has the grip on the cars around him. It's like, I look like Techno and James are going side by side through turn 1. And again, not sure though. Looking further back, we have these two cars all the way at the back. So this McLaren had that issues with his pit limiter, very unfortunate. And Maxi, I think the typical bad luck striking Maxi again. It's like Kanye falling a little bit off the group ahead. He's going to need to put some work in to catch back up if he wants a chance at a podium. Interestingly, Weblu not able to get away from Wakey despite having the better compound. Wakey thinking about a move into the corkscrew but sensibly backs out. So it's been really impressive from Wakey here so far. The debutant amateur driver fighting for that P3 as we see one of the BMWs going very wide in the background. We'll look further back to them. It looks like Dev, Kaviak, Jen and Kanye still involved in this battle. So Kanye able to get back involved. It's like Dev, oof, little bit of contact there with Kanye. Dev going to be covering the inside here. No. Does let Kanye have the inside. Kanye makes a move but misses his braking points, and Dev gets the switchback on him. But Kanye is still going to have the inside here. These two fighting away. This could be good for Kvyat. Could maybe get away from them. And Jen now took that opportunity there with Dev going a little bit wide. Looks like another group of a few cars behind him there. I believe that's Sebi and TXH, the teammates, fighting. We'll look back to our leaders. Looks like Techno is still ahead, controlling the pace. So interesting. I would have thought that James would be the faster driver here, but looks like he's content to just let Techno sit in front. We have a car on the side of the racetrack. Techno though still ahead of James here. And we'll look further back. Looks like Void and one of the Chevrolets fighting it out. Chevrolet with the inside is able to get the move done there. That's Simo. Void going a little bit wide. But we'll look back to that battle for the podium if I can find Webley. Webley, I think, must have pit. Yeah, Webley has indeed pit, so making the most of the soft tyre at the start there has unfortunately dropped back into a bit of traffic, so maybe the undercut might not work out for Webley here with this traffic around him. We'll look to Wakey now. Because Webley's pitted, he's got clean air, so we'll see what the gap is. 4 tenths between James and Techno, and then 8 seconds back to Wakey, so those two are just in a class of their own. Be interesting to see when these two leaders pit, if they leave it too late. Oh, as James goes wide there, he might be starting to drop off the back of Techno here. It's got to be careful not to get too many CCs, although Techno also gets a CC. So mistake for mistake between these two. And they're going to have to stop working together at some point. Going to have to start thinking about a move. You know, only one of them can win this race, so... But they're still nose to tail through turn 9. Still working together here. Neither of them peeling into the pits. So the two Ferraris out ahead then, 8 seconds clear. Behind them we have Wakey, the AM driver and the debutant in P3. Very impressive from Wakey, although he is 8 seconds back from those top two in a class of their own. We have Kanye followed by Dev, as we see one of the Lamborghinis in the pits there, I believe, retiring. So Kanye, the new signing to the Emil Frey team, putting in a decent stint there. P4 currently, although does have Dev behind him. Dev inheriting a win from his reserve driver Neon, which has put him into championship contention. Going to be looking for another good result here today at Laguna Seca, as we can just see a visual representation of that gap to Wakey, clearing these pros. Definitely going to be looking for a promotion into the pro category himself after this race. Looks like James has actually dropped quite a big back from Techno. Techno may be looking to gap him. Not sure what happened. Maybe a mistake from James. James now 1.4 seconds back, so he needs to get back in the slipstream here. This could be a critical moments for this race. Going on board with James here. I think there was some traffic ahead, although I'm not sure. Techno then, with the fastest lap, pulling away from James. It'll be interesting to see how the gap changes on this lap. Without James in the slipstream, we'll see who is actually the fastest driver. As we go with James through the corkscrew. down into the compression here. And approaching the penultimate turn. Looks like Techno went a little bit wide. Neither of these... Oh no, I take it back. James into the pits then. Does well to steer it into his pit box. So James pulling the trigger, going to be looking for an undercut here to get him back into the slipstream of Techno. And we'll see if he loses out. Indeed, he gets passed by Wakey, who's yet to pit. And we have this pit exit that actually gives you a little bit of an advantage here as you get the inside into turn 1. It's like James cutting the pit exit for some reason. Not sure why he's chosen to done that. It's going to give him a massive slowdown. Big mistake for James. That could put him well off Techno. It's like Voids battling away with the AMs as Jen comes out ahead of him. So this is bad news for Jem here. Emerging into a group of AMs. He's going to need to make quick work of these guys. Although he will be on the cold tyres, so they're going to be going too wide into turn 5. We'll see how this ends. Looks like Lamborghini just gets ahead there. And this is going to be a massive time loss for Jen here, stuck in this battle. Not what you want to see for Jen. But we'll look further forward to Techno, and indeed Techno pits, and I think he's going to easily stay ahead with James making that mistake on the pit exit. Looks like Wakey also coming into the pits, so these drivers thinking it's time to switch onto the other compound. Lots of drivers swapping onto the softs here, so aggressive strategies being seen. Few drivers exiting the pits here. Wakey coming out, has some clean air ahead of him, so good news for Wakey. We'll check back in on Jen. Looks like he did manage to get away from those. Oh no, he's actually still stuck with the AMs. He's got Dev ahead of him now. You can see that pack behind him. Jen, ooh, gets the switch back on Dev. What a move from Jen there. Dev just backs out, making the sensible decision, but Jen really solid move into turn 5, getting the switch back. It's going to be coming under pressure into the corkscrew though. It looks like Dev just heating up his tyres a little bit. See the gap between Techno and James is absolutely massive now, so I don't think James is going to have enough time to catch back up here unless he pulls an absolute blinder. Just making that mistake on pit exit, cutting the pit lane exit and getting a massive penalty as a result. And he's making more mistakes, goes too wide into there, gets another CC, so it's looking like Techno is going to get the job done here, and Laguna Seca has controlled the race for most of it, and just benefiting from James's mistake. We'll look further backwards, see where Wakey is. Believe he should be ahead of the likes of Webblue. I'm not sure though. Oh no, it looks like Webblue's actually gotten ahead of him massively. So unfortunate for Wakey. Could have been a podium on debut. What a result that would have been. But Webblue, the more experienced driver, looks like he's going to take it here. See, he gets a bit of a messy corkscrew there. Looks like Dev going a little bit wide in this fight. For I believe P6. Jen going to be putting him under pressure into the hairpin, maybe thinking about a move up the inside. No, hangs back. And they've got Wakey just ahead of them, so if they work together, they maybe could catch up to Wakey, and that would be a P4 for one of these guys. But Dev defending there. Looks like Maxi recovering a few places from that disaster of a start up to P11. Only needs to make up one more place to get into the points, and the driver ahead of him is actually his teammate. So yeah, his teammate seemed, I think, has let him pass, maybe? I'm not sure. Nah, actually still behind him, so could pull some team orders here to get his teammate to let him pass. But Techno out in front, controlling the pace, no mistakes from Techno. Surrounding the final corner, starting the penultimate lap then. James running out of time to catch up. We'll see what the gap is. 4.8 on that lap is now 5 seconds, so Techno pulling away from James. No chance for James to catch up. So looking like a win for Techno here. As we have a Wakey dropping further and further back from Weblu. Maybe gonna come under pressure from Jen and Dev at some point here, not sure. Speaking of those two, going side by side, Jen forcing him out wides. These two are definitely not working together. It's like Jen's gonna be leaving the door open here, maybe looking for some sort of switchback. No, carries the speed around the outside, so Dev fooled into parking it on the apex, but Jen just goes all the way around the outsides. Will be vulnerable into the corkscrew though. See if Dev can do anything here. Sits behind him, so maybe still trying to work together here as we start the final lap. And Dev thinking about a move but has to back out. Although gets a much better exit, gonna put him on the outside of Jen here. Bit of door banging there as Jen forces him out wide. A bit of dirty driving from Jen there, you'd have to say, just forcing Dev into the CC. Looks like Weblu and Wakey maybe coming together, but I don't think they'll have time to begin a fight. James dropping further back from Techno, just can't keep up with Techno's pace. So it looks like the highest place fight we have is these three guys then, although Dev seemingly dropping a bit back from Jen. He's got Kanye behind him. But Jen most likely gonna get a penalty as we see Kanye going pretty wide there. Dev just has to keep within about a second or 5 seconds. Not sure how big that penalty is gonna be yet, but he should be good to inherit that P5 from Jen if he can stay close. But he makes a mistake into the corkscrew as Techno crosses the line to win. We'll be watching this battle though. Oh, Dev just goes wide and not looking like he's gonna get the place on track. Looks like Weblu Wakey crossing the line, and we have side by sides in the backgrounds. Roxy just able to get the position over Kaviak there. Look to the likes of Sebi crossing the line. Got our last few runners. Burnout Bob. Voids. And Simo all coming across. Aloha having a technical issue with his car. A few laps down, but still comes across the line. So Techno then, your winner in race 1. James unable to live with his pace. Yeah, Webblue there, pulling that undercut to perfection, starting on the softs, able to secure a P3 with that. So good strategy seen from Webblue there, thinking outside the box. Always good to see that. How is that Chevrolet managed to do that? Oh my god. Where did that Chevrolet even go? Oh, he's alive, cool. So drivers going on to the outlap then. So drivers just making their way into their pit boxes now. Qualifying order, of course. As we have the last two drivers just making their way onto the grids. We'll be looking for Techno then for the restart. See who gets the better start here then for race 2. James. Oh, why is there a car there? So apologies there. Car stuck on the track. Some idiot decided to leave it there. Be looking for the lights then here in race 2. Techno and James are your front row, of course, as per qualifying. See who gets the better start. Looks like Techno gets away decently. James hot on his heels though, looking for a potential move around the outside here. James, ooh, just tries it up the inside, but forced to go out wide again. Gonna be looking to go all the way around the outside. He gets a decent enough exit to keep him ahead of Weblu. Kanye was looking for a move there, but forced to back out. Wakey making his way back up into the high positions again, proving that it was not just a one race fluke. But Techno then leading this one, and once again James hot on his heels. James gonna have to learn his mistakes from race 1 here and try and stick with Techno this time. Although I don't imagine they are gonna want to be going side by side just yet, as they do have a whole pack behind them. James getting a CC there, gonna put Weblu on his tail. It's a little bit of a bump on the curb there. Well, it looks like cars making it through lap 1 as Wakey does go a little bit wide. It's gonna put him side by side with Kvyat, trying to squeeze him to the inside here, but Kvyat not yielding, gonna get the slipstream from Maxi. Kvyat looking for a move into turn 1. Gets it done nicely, parks it ahead of Maxi. Gonna have the inside for the next corner, and pulls ahead of Maxi then. It looks like we've got a top 3 this time instead of a top 2. Weblu able to stick with these guys this time. Gonna have to put some good laps in to keep up though, as they are pulling away just a tiny bit every single corner. I think it's only the slipstream that's keeping him with them. But James though, hot on the heels of Techno, looking for a move on the outsides. They're going side by side through the corkscrew. James forced to back out, but sends it up the insides. These drivers not working together here. James maybe going to be looking for a move around the outside into the hairpin, as Techno just consolidates the position. Techno coming under threat from James once again. James on the outsides, squeezing him as much as he can. Gonna get run wide on the exit. He's gonna still have the inside for turn 3 though, and gets ahead of Techno here. But Techno with the better exit, he's gonna come back at James here. They're still side by side. Techno is gonna have the inside for turn 5, but no, backs out, looking for a move on the outside this time. Maybe a switchback here. Unable to get it done though. James parking it nicely on the apex. And Weblu has come into this by these 3 fighting, and if they're not careful, could see the pack behind also catching up to them. So James nails the corkscrew there and gets a little bit of a gap to Techno. It's not going to be there for long though, as we see few of them going wide there. Looks like Maxi is making his way onto this back 3, although it does go wide there. Gonna get a slowdown, might make him vulnerable to a Wakey behind him. Wakey could be looking for a move here on Maxi. No, stays behind, although Kanye making the move on Wakey, but misses his braking point. Manages to get the job done though. So Wakey dropping lots of positions here, as Kvyat muscles his way past, and he now has Jen on his inside too, but just fully turns in on Jen there. Not sure what he expected. So Wakey may be losing his head a little bit, losing lots of positions there, but we'll look back to our leaders then. Looks like Techno is still on the defensive against James, but James gets the switchback. Gonna put him on the inside for the corkscrew. They're going side by side. See how this ends. Looks like James breaks later, is able to get the job done. This battle certainly isn't over yet. It's like in the background as you see Techno go wide. Jen still side by side with Wakey, maybe looking for a move around the outside into the final corner here. Ooh, gets the cut back. Just pushing Wakey slightly there. It's going to give him the inside for turn 1. They're going side by side here. We'll see who comes out ahead. The Am driver and the Pro driver, Ferrari and Corvette. Jen with the inside, but Wakey carrying lots of speed around the outside. And they are making both of them going past the Lamborghini there. But Wakey now on the outside. And they're still side by side. 3 wide now, in fact. Wakey sensibly backs out. Kvyat looking for a move on the outside, but Wakey's going to get the cut back on both of them, and this is going to invite Dev into this battle. So I believe this is the fight for P6. We have 5 cars involved, and they're still 2x2 Noah's Ark into the corkscrew. It looks like Jen is just going to manage to come out ahead there. But Kvyat has to back out, avoids hitting him. But we'll look further forward. Looks like James has made his way past Techno now. I'm not sure what the move was there. But it'd be interesting to see how Techno responds. Will he get gapped by James here? James setting the fastest lap, showing that he does indeed have the pace. Race 1 maybe just not going his way. Gonna be looking for a win in race 2 here. So you have most of the drivers picking the medium, 1 soft runner and 1 hard runner that is dropped quite far back. So hard's really not working out for Void here. Is dropped about 9 seconds off the pack. And interestingly, Sebi on the softs, really not making as much progress as he'd have liked. Getting stuck behind this TF Sport Kart here. So the softs not quite working out for Sebi. Looks like our leaders though are going side by side. Techno attempting the move, but James is able to keep that one there. Oh, Techno goes wide. That might put him out the slipstream of James. Oh, both of them going wide. So mistakes being made from our leaders here, but they are gapping Weblu by quite a bit. So Weblu falling out of the slipstream, unable to live with the pace of these two. And you have to say, these two have just been in a league of their own here today. But 8 tenths the gap though. Techno gonna just barely be inside slipstream. Gonna have to put in a good lap time on this lap around if he wants to stay up in the slipstream of James. Looking further back, looks like Jen and Kvyat fighting it out. These two with a bit of history in Valencia, reunited on track once again. Ooh, as we see one of the Ferraris getting a bit of a tank slapper on the background. Looks like Techno though, still just hovering on that sort of edge of slipstream range of James. Gets a bit of a poor exit from the corkscrew. And these are really critical moments of Techno here. Has to stay up, keep up with James, otherwise he's not going to have that slipstream. We'll see what the gap is, 9 tenths on that last lap, and it's now 1.1, so James out of the slipstream from Techno. We'll see what James can do, whether he can pull away or if he falls back into Techno's grasp. Looks like Kanye is actually caught up decently with Weblu. Weblu maybe making a mistake there, coming on the radio. And oh, Kanye sends it up the inside. Aggressive move from Kanye. Weblu did not see that one coming. Left the door wide open. But Kanye immediately goes wide. So looks like this fight for P3 is going to continue for a little bit. Kanye just letting Weblu back ahead there. Some good sportsmanship on display. Doesn't want to get a penalty. Better to let them through than receive a time penalty at the end of the race. Maxi's also getting involved in this freeway fight here. Maxi going to be thinking about a move on the insides. They're going 3 wides into the penultimate corner. Kanye, goes really wide, is gonna let both of those two pass. As Maxi was thinking about a move, but just backed out there. So the fight for P3, three-way fight here. 6 seconds back from the leaders, but also 4 seconds clear of the rest of the pack. As Maxi sends it up the inside of Webblue. Webblue's gonna maybe hold it around the outsides. It's gonna give him the insides for this next corner, and indeed he does get the position back. He goes wide then, he's gonna get a CC slowdown. It's gonna put Kanye ahead of him. So this battle chopping and changing. But they are getting gapped by Techno and James quite a lot. And we'll see. It looks like James is just slightly pulling away from Techno here. Looks like James flexing his legs here, showing what he can do. Techno making a few mistakes, goes wide there, gets a slowdown. He needs to lock in if he wants to have a chance at a win here, as we are approaching lap 9. Be interesting to see if anyone pits, as the gap has increased again by 5 tenths. So it looks like James has got this one covered, unless Techno can pull some sort of undercut masterclass here. But it looks like these three are still fighting for that final podium position. Webblue with the insides. Goes a little bit wide, but Maxi backs out. So maybe these guys thinking of working together here now, although they are very far back from the leaders with only 6 laps to catch them. We'll look to see if anyone is in the pits. I don't think so. Looks like Jen still stuck with Kvyat. Bad news for Jen then in a fight for P6. We have Wakey behind these two as well. Kvyat thinking about it around the outside into the corkscrew. Backs out there. Not going to work out for him. Although it does send it up the inside. But I'm not going to be able to carry enough speed. It's going to have Jen on his inside. Maybe looking for a switchback here as Jen goes very wide. And we see one of the cars into the pits. And indeed, Webblue and Techno into the pits then. So Techno looking for an undercut on James, who stays out. And this is going to be a really important lap for Webblue. He's going to be praying, Techno, sorry, going to be praying that he does not come out into any traffic. It looks like he has Jen right behind him. I believe Jen also... Actually, Jen, no, must not have pit, so... Not looking good for Jen. Quite far down the order. Unfortunate result for him. Techno going to be hoping that Jen unable to catch him. It's like James just exiting the corkscrew now. Surely is going to pit this lap, go onto the softs, cover off the undercut by Techno. And indeed, James does enter the pits. It's going to be a critical pit stop for James. Looks like he gets it done well. It's going to be interesting to see where Techno comes out relative to James. You know, last race, the undercut really not working out for James. And you can just see him there exiting the pits. I think it's going to be close. Techno's going to be... I think not quite going to get it done. But James will be on the cold tyres here. So Techno might have a chance to just catch up slightly. Whether the gap is quite big. As we head under the bridge into turn 4. You can see the gap decreasing slightly. Techno with the warm tyres. James just still having to build some heat in. But that advantage is only going to last for a few more corners. And I don't think Techno's done enough here to get back into the slipstream of James, so these top 2 continuing as they were before the pit stops. Looks like Dev and one of the Ferraris, Roxy, side by side. Dev able to make the move there. Gonna put Roxy under threat from, I believe that's Burnout Bob, yet to make a pit stop or something. Not sure why he's fighting with these guys. It's like Kanye though. Kanye and Maxi, I think, have gotten away from Weblu. Not sure what's happened to Weblu. He's dropped a little bit back, maybe messing up his pit stop. Not too sure, but hang on. Looks like Techno has actually gained a lot on James here. James maybe has made a mistake, so I think this fight for P1 going to be reignited as James is weaving on the straights, trying to break the toe. I think Techno is just about in slipstream range. James doing everything he can to break it. It's going to be a critical few corners for Techno. Needs to do them well. I think he's still just about in slipstream. James should theoretically have the pace on Techno. I mean, he's got the fresher tyres, as we see Techno cutting the corner a little bit. That's going to put him a bit further back, and still 8/10 the gap, same as last lap. And these drivers are so far ahead of the next car. That's Kanye, 11 seconds clear. So James and Techno showing their class here, gapping the entire field. It's going to be interesting to see this fight here. These two yet to come together and actually fight in a race until here today. But Techno though is slowly catching up. Well within the slipstream here now. James going to have to put on a strong defense. Coming into the corkscrew. Techno just showing his nose, maybe trying to unsettle James there, but not going to have any effect on James. One of those drivers that can really just keep calm in any situation and avoid mistakes. Techno is on the limits here, and he thinks about a move, but that was never on. You'd have to say too far back, and the door just gets closed, and he's pushed into the slowdown, gonna put him a little bit far back. So Techno running out of time to get this move done. 6/10 the gap. Slipstream should work in his favor to get him onto the back of James, but you know, catching up is one thing, overtaking is entirely another. And James, I think, got a slowdown there. So fortune falling on Techno then as James gets a slowdown. Techno getting past. Not really how you want to see an overtake being made, but it is what it is. James though looking for a switchback and gets the job done. It's like James complaining a bit of lag there. That maybe explains the slowdown that he got. He's going to have Techno right on the back of him. Techno does not go for the move here, so biding his time as we start the final lap. James covering off the inside. They're going to be going side by side into turn 1. Through the flat corner, they're pushing each other, not leaving any room here. James does have the inside, is able to maintain position. Techno running a little bit wide there. Techno running out of time to get this move done. Few major overtaking opportunities to go, but Techno goes wide, and that could be it. That could be the race over. Techno making that mistake, might be too far back now to catch back up and make a move. But James also goes wide, so these top two definitely not immune from mistakes, despite their superior pace here today. But I think Techno might just be a little bit too far back. unless he absolutely nails this corkscrew. And he does do it quite well, but James also taking a good line there. I think James has just about done enough here to get the win from Techno. It's certainly gone down to the final lap here, but James was just able to keep his cool. Techno making that little mistake that cost him severely, and James taking the win here in round 5, sprint 2. But we'll look further back. Looks like Kanye's got the podium, but Wakey and Maxi gonna be going side by side. It's gonna be a photo finish between these two. We'll see who gets ahead. Looks like Wakey just pulled ahead there. Close finish between those two. Wakey, an impressive debut result, securing a P4. We'll look back to the likes of Roxy filling in a reserve driver, and there are 2 walking horse BMWs crossing the line behind him. I believe that's all here at round 5 then. So Techno taking the win in sprint 1, pretty dominant fashion, but James keeping it competitive, taking a win in sprint 2, with Techno following closely behind. We'll get onto the podium here.